I started doing this in 2014. Yeah, that's when I started doing this at Parkwood. But then the PTA president at that point had reached out to me and said, hey, why don't you join on as a secretary? So I went to the meeting where you get voted in, and they had committees. And one of the committees that was there, and they said it was like 10 years that had been there, was the Families Missions Committee. So when I asked about it, I really thought the parents were going to have something to say, but the teachers had things to say. That there were kids that weren't eating lunch, there were kids that missed breakfast, there were kids that were coming to school and their clothes or their shoes had to be taped together. So just listening to that made me say, okay, well, we're going to start this committee. So being new on the PTA was kind of hard, and I was like, I want to start this committee. I found out about the Food Bank of Eastern Central North Carolina. So that first summer, me and my husband went and said, okay, we didn't have the 501c number for the PTA because they didn't give it to me. So we used our social security numbers to start the summer meals program. And we served Forest Glen Apartments, and Parkway United Methodist helped out too to serve meals on this side. So we had, we were out there every day during the summer. And then I was like, okay, I was scared every day because if something went wrong, that was on me and my husband's social, and we would have had to pay it back. And I was like, you guys have to do better than this. So they finally gave me the 501c. We started our first mobile pantry that year, and we also did Christmas that year. So it was great. It was great. We served 125 families with Christmas, working with Massey Chapel. And we gave a week's worth of groceries, and they had their holiday meal. Parkway United Methodist helped with that. And I finally became a partner with the Food Bank of Eastern Central North Carolina, and it just grew from there. More people heard about it, our mobile pantries. We had to actually start one at Forest Glen Apartments because we had a lot of the free and reduced lunch in that apartment complex was over 74% of the students that lived there, no matter what school they went to, was at over 74%. So we figured we need to be there, and a lot of the parents didn't have transportation to get there. So we would just set up in that neighborhood, and people would just keep coming. When the numbers just started hitting like 250 families per mobile pantry, we were like, okay, this is a need. Parkwood Elementary was a pantry. We did mobile pantry, and we only had a capacity to serve 20 families every week. We couldn't do emergency bags pass within the school, and we could do backpack buddies. We need a space that anybody could come to no matter what. And when school was closed, or if inclement weather happened and they shut down school early, people still needed food, or if their electricity went out. I couldn't get to the food in the school because I couldn't get inside the school. And if I could get to food that was being donated, I would have to sit outside of the school for my trunk to give it out. So we had to do something. And that's how this became about. Everybody joined in, and the Parkway United Methodist gave us the space, and Pastor Sharon helped me with the idea, and we birthed the hub. So the hub has a greater purpose. It can reach more in the community. So Parkway Elementary, with the Food Bank of Eastern Central North Carolina, Parkway Elementary is actually still a partner agency. They still do their part. They actually help supply food into this pantry. They actually help with the garden. So we're still community partners. This grew so much that the Parktown Food Hub also became an agency because the need became greater. So with each agency, you can only get a certain amount of things, like especially when they started putting limits on before COVID, and it just made more sense for us to work together, be that powerhouse. We needed to have two different agencies. So with Parkway Elementary, every fourth Thursday is their community mobile pantry. So it's housed here because not allowed on school property, and we have a great drive-through service. They still have a pantry within their school, but they do, right now, everything is blended here because COVID is uncertain, so we didn't want to shut that down. So right now we're blended here, and all of this is efforts not just of the Parktown Food Hub, this is also efforts of Parkwood Elementary too. So what they do, they'll shop every month and spend probably about anywhere from $400 to $800 to help add stuff to the shelves. We can have more people come in, we can have more groups and organizations, and we're not limited to time. And again, like I said, this is more community based, not saying that the PTA portion isn't, but they have to follow PTA guidelines on how we run a pantry. This is more of, we could take, our clients have input. So a lot of our volunteers are clients. They come in and they have input about the foods and the things that are done here. We still have a board, just like any, because this is a nonprofit, but we're able to we have less walls. The other thing that I need PTAs to be mindful of is that you have a lot, especially if you have a Title I school, you have a lot of kids that are helping mom and dad out. Because I think the misconception is that a Title I school has single moms or it's a single parent. Title I schools have single parents, yes, and they have parents that are working low-income jobs that just have to work 2 or 3 and they're not home. So a 10-year-old might be taking care of themselves and their brothers and sisters. So another thing that the elementary school did for me was we also try to have things that the kids, like we go see a lot of pool tops because kids shouldn't be messing with the can openers. And we try to make things easier for them. I don't condone oodles and noodles at all, but I know when we tried to take it away, it was an uproar, but that is something that the kids, they're able to have. So what we tried to do with the food bank of East and Central North Carolina, we try to say, okay, take the season pack out. Let's add more fresh vegetables to it. Let's do like a Japanese soup. Just try to switch it up so it becomes as healthy as possible. But you need to be mindful that you have a lot of kids that are making these meals, and some of these meals need to be able to go into a microwave or, have something that they're able to do because they're the ones providing for themselves and their siblings. Something else to be mindful of is that when you're doing this, and even as a PTA, we're community-based, and it's not just, yes, it's for the kids, but it's also if that child is hungry, their family most likely is hungry. And I love the Backpack Buddies program, but when I found out that when we were utilizing the Backpack Buddies program, when I was over it, that meal was being broke down for a whole family, that's hard. Because, what child wants to see their mom go hungry? So we have to be mindful in the things that we do, and this is a need.